So welcome. My name is Esmeralda Bonk, and I am the Roundtable Commissioner for Wapelonaswa. And welcome to December's Roundtable. I am by myself today because Angie had a family commitment, but that's okay. I have Melissa here who will be helping me monitor the chat box. So let us begin. So let us begin with the pledge, oath, and law.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right. Next up, we have
Those in uniform, please salute.
we have Eric Lindstrom here, and he will be helping us in leading us in prayer. All you, Eric.
Hello, everyone. I'm part of the diversity team, and we've been bringing prayers the last few months. And this is a prayer from the Buddhist faith. May all beings have happiness in the cause of happiness. May they be free of suffering in the cause of suffering. May they never be disassociated from the supreme happiness which is without suffering. May they remain in the boundless equanimity, free from both attachment to close ones and rejection of others.
Thank you. As I said before, I am solo, but it does not mean that Angie is absent from our realm of Roundtable. So she is here with our info minute.
Welcome to the December Info Minute, all the news that you can use for Rainbow Council. Recharter was due December 1st. If you haven't turned your recharter in yet, you are late. Oh no! Please contact your commissioner team as soon as possible for help to avoid being dropped. Programming news. Pack up your sled and lead your patrol from town to town in a test of your scouting skills. Klondike for Scouts BSA and Venturing Cruise is January 14th, 2022 through January 16th, and you can register now online. Just because it's cold outside doesn't mean we need to stay inside. After all, the weather isn't as frightful as you may think. Cub Scouts join us for the Arctic Blast at RSR on Saturday, January 15th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Registration is online. We're also looking for Scouts BSA and adult volunteers to help run stations for the Cubs at the event. So if you're not going to Klondike Scouts, the older Scouts, you can come help the Cubs at the Arctic Blast. Please contact us if you are able to help. Leave No Trace 101 for BSA is being offered at RSR on January 29th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. This introduction to Leave No Trace is for all Scouts BSA, Ventures, and adult volunteers, including Cub Scout adult volunteers who use the outdoors. So that's pretty much everybody. It is the minimum recommended training for all adults and older Scouts who will be teaching Leave No Trace in their troops and or signing off on the second class, first class, or merit badge Leave No Trace requirements. This course is entered into your official record, and be like Bigfoot, leave no trace. NYLT will be held at Rainbow Council July 31st to August 8th. This is for Scouts BSA. Youth staff applications are due December 15th. Don't miss the deadline if you'd like to serve on staff. Scout Sunday, oh, I've got bunny ears. Scout Sunday is coming up February 6th. Make sure you put it on your calendars now. There are still recruiting flyers available, so if you would like a recruiting flyer made for your troop or pack or crew, you can fill out the form that is on our Facebook page or call the office and get them made for your unit. Volunteers. Volunteers are always needed. Your council needs your help. A scouting council is almost entirely run by dedicated volunteers like yourself, like me, like Ez. We are all volunteers. All committees here at Rainbow are in need of volunteers, especially the program and training committees and the commissioner team. Please consider becoming involved with at least one committee at the district or council level. If you're not sure how to start, please reach out to us. We'll help you, and we'll help you find the best personal fit. It takes all of us working together with a common goal to make a great program for all the kids. And if you get involved on a committee, it doesn't mean you have to do anything huge. It can just mean you're welcome, you're available to help things when they need a little help. But it's not going to work without all of us helping together. So consider that. And then, do you have anything to add? Are you on a committee and you want to make sure that your information is shared at Roundtable? Does your unit have an event open to the public coming up soon? Let us know and we'll put it on the Info Minute.
Thank you, Angie. All right, our Scout law for this month is friendly. Friendship is a strong relationship between two people. Sometimes it grows over years, while other times it springs up in a short time. In my life, I have had few close friends, though I've had many acquaintances and been friendly to many more people. Friends are people you cherish and care for and enjoy being around. You know them and they know you. A scout should be friendly to everyone he meets, giving them the benefit of the doubt and believing them to be worthy of friendship first until their character becomes known. If a scout prejudges someone on their skin color, language, clothes, looks, family name, or other superficial aspects, then he is not following the scout law. Offering his friendship to be taken, rejected, or lost to all people is expected of a scout. It is going out on a limb and knowing that some people will reject you. Being friendly is demonstrated in many ways, depending on the situation in which a new person is met. Being friendly to a new boy or girl in school struggling to find their place, their next class might require escorting them there. If they were seen sitting alone at lunch, it might just mean asking them to join you. If a gang of boys were laughing at his strange accent, a scout might step in and deflect the abuse. So this month, a scout is friendly. Our leader notch for this month is the Unit Leader Award. And here's Angie again.
This month's Adult Award is the Unit Leader Award of Merit. Quality unit leadership is the key to a quality unit program, and it leads to better scout retention. Statistics show that if young people stay engaged in the program for at least 5 years, the BSA's influence likely will stay with them for the rest of their lives. A quality scouting experience will help keep scouts in the program, and the Boy Scouts of America created this award to recognize the quality unit leaders who make it happen. So the requirements for this knot are to be a currently registered Cub Master, Scout Master, coach, advisor, or skipper who have served in that position at least 18 continuous months. They meet the training requirements for that registered position, meaning they are completely position trained. They distribute a printed or electronic annual unit program plan and a calendar to each family in the unit. They have a leader succession plan in place. They effectively use the advancement method, so at least 60% of the unit's youth have advanced at least once during the last 12 months. They cultivate a positive relationship with the chartered organization, and they project a positive image of scouting in the community. If you have a Cub Master or Scout Master or advisor you would like to nominate for this award, you can fill out the nomination form and turn it into the office at Lockport.
And there we have it. All right. So our Cub Scout and Scouts BSA award is the World Conservation Award. This program has the Scouts think globally and act locally to preserve and improve the environment. It is designed to make youth members aware that all nations are closely related through natural resources and that we and our world environments are interdependent. So depending on what your rank is for the Cub Scouts, this can be earned as a unit or as an individual. And each rank has their specific requirements. And then after that, there are some other little things that you need to do. To find out what the requirements are for each rank, you can go to my.scouting.org, look up Cub Scout World Conservation Award, and you will find that information. When buying the patch, please be aware that the Cub Scout one is the one with the orange background and the purple border, and the Scouts BSA is the tan background with the purple fleur-de-lis. They look very much alike, but one is the Cub Scouts while the other one is still the Scouts BSA. Membership Minute by Melissa. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa Rubik, Vice President of Membership. I'll put my contact information in the chat. If you have ever any questions about membership, feel free to reach out. Also, the info minute mentioned that we do still have Cub Scout flyers available for free, customizable for your unit. This is the URL to fill out the form to request as many copies as you would like for your event or generally for your unit. So it's December and it's time for our membership minute. We've reached December. It's time to reflect on membership for 2021 and how it should work for 2022. A great idea is to have an annual membership plan for your unit. Whether you create it now or follow the scouting year and create it in May, here are some things to consider. First, total membership. What are your goals for the total size of your unit? You may want to think in terms of number of scouts per den and number of dens per rank. Ensuring depth at each rank will help the unit continue to thrive year after year. Second, recruiting. Of course, we never turn away an interested family, but what are your goals for active recruiting? Will you hold or participate in any events for the spring or fall? Are there town-wide or school-wide events that you can use for recruiting? Do you have a budget to offer handouts or events or prizes for new scouts, like a rocket day where potential scouts get a rocket kit? Third, retention. Is the unit retaining members year to year? Is there any plan to determine why scouts or leaders leave? Are you ensuring that new members are welcomed properly and that you are continuing to meet the needs of current members? Are you actively checking the health of your membership? Being made aware of families that are not coming and following up with scouts that have stopped earning awards or achievements are ways to do this. Surprisingly, the advancement report can actually be a good indicator of scouts that will stay with the program and those on the way out. Work with your PAC committee to see how they want to answer all the questions above. Then write up and start following your plan. Refine it on an annual basis. And don't forget to reach out to your council membership team if we can be of any assistance.
Thank you, Melissa. And please know that her information is in the chat box. So if you want to go ahead and grab that, that would be amazing. All right. Next up is your safety minute. So safety minute for this month is when to cancel an event due to weather. Now that we're getting closer to inclement weather, we need to make sure that we are aware of some of the basic principles of when or when not to do an event. Some basic key principles to help to prepare are for you to consider. Know the weather forecast before your trip. Prepare for the types of weather hazards associated with your destination. Double check weather conditions immediately upon arrival to verify the forecast. Weather can be integral to becoming lost or injured. If visibility becomes limited, respond quickly to gather the scouts in your care. Inquire about the locations of any designated emergency shelters in the area. The BSA's online weather hazard training is available on my.scouting.org and is a great resource to use and should be renewed every 2 years. This month's general topic, is how to respond to bullying.
This month's general topic is a challenging one, but it is a very important one, and this is responding to bullying. So bullying is when someone uses their power and position to frighten, embarrass, harass, or threaten another person, and can be verbal, social, physical, group, criminal, or cyberbullying. So as Scouters, we sometimes wait to intervene in order to allow a Scout to advocate for themselves, or allow the youth leaders or peers to step up and stop the bullying. And maybe we hesitate to step in to avoid embarrassing or making matters worse for the Scout being bullied. And sometimes we fail to act because we just aren't sure how to or what to do. But in order to make Scouting a place of safety and comfort for all, it's important that we respond no matter what, and don't leave it up for the kids to figure out themselves. Excuse me. The person being bullied needs the help from an adult, and the person doing the bullying probably does too. When adults respond quickly and consistently to bullying behavior, they send the message that it is not acceptable. Research shows that this can stop bullying behavior over time. So what do you do to help? Well, first of all, you intervene immediately. Don't ignore it. Don't assume the youth, including the unit's youth leaders, can work it out without adult help. They need an adult involved when there's bullying present. Separate the youth involved and make sure everyone is safe. Stay calm and model respectful behavior. Remember, they're watching. They're going to respond how we respond. Reassure the youth involved, including the bystanders, that everything is going to be okay and that the adults are there to help. If members of the unit's youth leadership team intervene, remember that an adult Scouter must monitor and guide, well, 2 adult Scouters must monitor and guide their leadership techniques and ensure that the BSA policies are followed. So yes, the youth can help, but there need to be adults present. Get the facts. Keep all the involved youth separate. Get the story from several sources, both youth and adults if possible. Listen, this is important. Listen without blaming anyone. Just listen. Listen to all the stories. Don't call the act bullying while you're trying to understand what happened, and don't force other youth to say publicly what they saw or question the youth involved in front of the other youth. We don't want to make them feel shamed or embarrassed or worried about retaliation. Don't make the youth involved apologize or patch up relationships on the spot. Saying you're sorry when you don't mean it doesn't mean a thing. Support the youth involved. Support first the youth who are bullied. Listen to them closely and assure them it's not their fault and you want to help. Give advice about how the youth might react if bullying occurs again, and work together to resolve the situation and protect them. Also, make sure you address the bullying behavior. Make sure you're supporting the youth that is exhibiting the bullying behavior. Make sure the child knows what the problem behavior is and why it's wrong and harms others. Calmly tell them that bullying will not be tolerated. Model respectful behavior when addressing the problem. Work with them to understand some of the reasons they bullied and involve them in making amends or repairing the situation. The next important part is to be persistent. Because bullying is a behavior that repeats or has the potential to be repeated, it takes consistent effort and observation to make sure that it stops. You also need to create a culture. Make it clear through words and actions that bullying has no place in your unit. Discuss ethical dilemmas involving bullying situations during unit meetings or outings so that the Scouts understand how to recognize them. And there are sometimes some examples in the Scout Life magazine that you can read, and the Scouts can discuss them. So that the Scouts can grow in empathy and learn why and how to be an upstander and develop the skills and courage to take action. Setting the tone and expectations for your unit in this way can prevent bullying from happening. Also make sure that you document the incident at the unit level. Documenting an incident and how it was handled can be helpful, especially if anything escalates later on. Notify the parents of youth who are involved as appropriate. Unit leaders should also make sure that they understand when an incident meets BSA and or state law requirements for filing an immediate report with their council. So sometimes bullying is more than just bullying. Bullying can be something much more serious. And you may be asking yourself, how do I know when it crosses that line? And you can know, there's a spiffy handy handout on BSA's website. And it lists out the areas when you report to council. When do things cross the line and should you report them to your council? Any threat or use of a weapon, any behavior associated with race, religion, sexual identity or orientation or disability, any report to authorities, BSA mandatory report of child abuse policy applies. So in YPT, when we learned about the things that cross the line, those things all need to go to council. Any abuse of a child that meets or exceeds state reporting mandates for bullying or harassment, and any concern or threat of suicide. These are all things that you need to call our Scout executive, our council executive, and let him know what's going on.
All right. Thank you, Angie, again. And those are the slides. Remember, we will be sharing these as well. So our breakout sessions for this month for Scouts, for Cub Scouts, and I forgot to write down what it is. So let's find out what it's about. So let's see.
Have you ever done something at work that took a lot of your time and talent, only for your supervisor to ignore your efforts, or perhaps even worse, decide not to use any of your work? As an adult, this can harbor a lot of negative feelings, and it may lead to you reconsidering your place of employment. All right, now imagine you're a second grader. You did your absolute best to try and tie a square knot. Your hands just couldn't get the rope to do what you wanted it to do. You kept trying and trying without any luck, and you get frustrated because everyone else in the den seemed to get it right away. These two scenarios are not that far apart. Welcome to Roundtable as we discuss Cub Scout advancement policies. Often we hear stories or see social media posts asking questions about advancement and what a den leader should do in real life situations. Often the den leader is conflicted. Now, on one hand, they want to uphold the advancement policies and make sure their Cub Scouts know their stuff. But on the other hand, they want to stay true to the Cub Scout motto of do your best. So what's a den leader to do? If you have not already done so, make sure to take the training module Cub Scout Advancement in my.scouting.org. It's part of the online training modules for all Cub Scout leadership positions. This module contains a high-level overview of Cub Scout advancement. There's also another roundtable video titled Advancements, and it was posted in February of 2021, where we get into the methodology of the Cub Scout advancement program and how it's based on incident recognition. All right, so going back to the example of how you may have felt at work when your efforts were not recognized or perhaps even ignored. If only your supervisor acknowledged the effort you put into the work, even though it wasn't going to be used, would have gone a long way to your job satisfaction and prevent you from seeking employment elsewhere. Now, let us look at a second grader who's having that hard time tying a square knot. Now, the standard for Cub Scout requirements is for the Cub Scout to do their best. So how do you know what their best is? Are they having a hard time because they lack the dexterity? Can they not visualize what the square knot should look like? Did they just learn that their grandmother's sick and had to go to the hospital? The reality is you just don't know. Doing one's best is very internal and personal. Only you know when you're doing your best. And when you're a second grader, doing your best is more frustrating than motivating for someone to tell you that you're not doing your best. The good news is that the more we work with the Cub Scouts in your den, you get to know them and their families. The more you're able to get to know what their abilities are. Keep in mind that there will be times when a Cub Scout just doesn't get it, and that's okay. The Cub Scout Advancement Program, the requirements and tasks we ask Cub Scouts to do is not the objective of the program. Let me restate that. Our objectives in Cub Scouting are much greater than a requirement related to any award. Kids can go anywhere to learn how to tie a square knot, make a bird feeder, or learn how to throw a yo-yo or build an awesome spaceship. In Cub Scouts, our objective is to instill character, leadership, citizenship, personal fitness. These are the aims of our program. The motto of do your best is a real life lesson that is more important than being able to complete a requirement for an adventure. What is more important is that a Cub Scout is acknowledged for trying something new and challenging. You will not be good at everything you try, but you should try new things anyway. People who are good at something are good because they first tried, they practiced, and then they always look for opportunities to improve. If you never try new things, you will likely miss out on discovering your true talents and gifts. This brings us back to our den leader, who's looking for guidance on when a Cub Scout has completed a requirement. The simple answer is, a Cub Scout has done their best, even if what they did doesn't look quite like it does in the book. We also want to acknowledge the other end of the spectrum, that doing nothing is never one's best. It is the attempt that is the bigger lesson. Lastly, we want to address the common question about who can sign off on a Cub Scouts advancement. Since 1930, when Cub Scouting was started, parents were and continue to be allowed and at sometimes expected to sign off on a Cub Scouts advancement. For kindergartners through third grade, when a parent says their child completed a requirement, that's it. The requirement is completed. For Weeblos, 4th and 5th grade, as a method to prepare for Scouts BSA, the den leader signs off on a Cub Scouts requirements. This does not change the fact that the standard for completion is still for the Cub Scout to do their best. The den leader should delegate this to parents as often as possible. Keep in mind that they're not in Scouts BSA yet, and it is not appropriate to use Scouts BSA standards of advancement on a Cub Scout. All right, now it's your turn. With your fellow leaders, consider these questions to spark some conversation. Was there something in this roundtable that you learned and will apply to your next den meeting? If so, what is it? What do you and your den or pack do to encourage parents to be an active part of their child's advancement? Why do you think it is more important to encourage a Cub Scout age child to do their best? How do you reinforce the Cub Scout motto of do your best in your den meetings? That's it for this roundtable. I look forward to seeing you at the next roundtable.
And here are the questions just in case you missed it. Was there something in this roundtable that you learned and will apply to your next den meeting? If so, what is it? What do you in your den or pack do to encourage parents to be an active part of their child's advancement? Why do you think it is important to encourage a Cub Scout age child to do their best? How do you reinforce the Cub Scout motto of do your best in your den meeting? So now we open up a floor, or in this case, the chat, Zoom, whatever, and let's start having a conversation. Let's kind of help each other out. What do you guys do? Was there something here that you're like, oh wow, I never realized I'm doing this starting tomorrow? Anything? Don't all talk at once.
I thought it was interesting that they said kindergarten through third grade parents should be signing off on stuff. I don't think we ever did that. It was always the den leaders. Are other packs doing that?
We do a little bit, especially with duty to God. That's something that our pack, before I joined, just across the board, that's something that the families do together. We actually don't do that as a den. So in that case, they just talk to the den leaders about the activities that they did. We share as a group, if that's something that's part of the activity, but the parents are very much involved in that.
Mm-hmm. I think the same thing. I think it's just, we just say, let us know, we'll mark it down in Scout Book. So.
Right. Any other dens or packs doing something similar or different?
We have one scout that doesn't attend much of anything, but his mom signs him off on all of his stuff. And so parents have been able to, sign things off, but generally we probably do more like Melissa. I've been a den leader for all my kids' stuff, so of course I've been signing off their stuff too. But yeah, we tend to, it's mainly done by den leaders or scouting, Cub Master or something like that.
Because now when my son went through Cub Scouts, that methodology was a little different than what it is now, because it used to be parent signature and then den leader verification. So I'm wondering is that still the case in the new Cub Scout program? It's just straight parents? Okay.
Parents can do it. It needs the Scoutmaster's approval then for before the awards are purchased or anything.
That's still common. Okay.
That's for everything, yeah.
Right. Anybody else? So what do you guys do in your den or packs to encourage parents to be active parts of their child's advancement? Is anybody having any difficulties that need some advice or?
We're kind of at the recruiting stage right now because our pack pretty much collapsed in the last 2 years. We haven't had our farm one hadn't had a pack meeting since February of 2020, and we've been communicating well with a lot of them. And so we are trying to rebuild now and get parents involved and get them communicated.
Well, now this may be a good way to kind of get them to, hey, do you know that you guys need to sign this off and show, verify that your scouts can do these things. So, anybody else?
Yeah, we communicate a lot through text chains. So if there's homework, at least for wolves, there's a lot of things where do this activity together at the den meeting, and then for the next 2 weeks at home, do this activity. So as my kids are completing that, I send a text, this is what we're doing. How are you doing? Any ideas? And then we get a bunch of replies. Oh yeah, we're doing this. And especially we grew plants over the summer for the plant elective, and had cute little cups that we put faces on, and then grew grass out of the top. So that was really cute to watch over a month, all these different planters grow their grass seeds, and it made like hair on the face, and it was really cute to see everybody and all their plants. So I don't know how much the parents show their kids, the scouts, what everybody else is doing, but at least it keeps the parents involved, and we share photos and like each other's photos, and then it helps everyone stay accountable, because oh yeah, these two people are doing that and I haven't done that yet. So I think that's been helpful.
Well, that's good. That sounds like a great way of keeping everybody in the loop and keeping them together, and the encouragement, because how many times do we have parents that are completely lost and they're like, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. And then seeing all these other ones, oh, I'm on the same page as they are. Okay, I'm not doing anything totally wrong. Because let's be honest, a lot of the parents are going through the Cub Scout program with them and learning as they go. And so it just having, so that thing is, why do you think it's important to encourage a Cub Scout age child to do their best? I think we also need to encourage our parents to do their best. Because yeah, we don't know it all, but if we do our best, we show our scouts resilience, correct?
I think it's important to highlight that you're not perfect, that you don't know everything, that sometimes you have to look stuff up. Sometimes your grass doesn't grow. Sometimes Johnny's grass is green and ours is still brown, and I'm sorry, I tried, because they're not going to be perfect, and you learn from imperfection, right? So showing that, and that we're still trying, and we're still going to keep watering the grass and hope it comes back, I think that's also important to show the cubs.
So, but why is it important to make sure that we encourage our Cub Scouters to do their best? Why is it important? I mean, we say it all the time, do your best, do your best. Build their confidence. Yes. Why else?
It can't always be about the product. I mean, I'm a scientist, so we experiment on things and don't always get the answers that we were expecting, and that's okay. We still learn something. So if you do your best, and even if you don't do it exactly the way that it was supposed to turn out, you tried, you gained a new skill, you learned learned from failure. Yeah, it still was a useful activity, even if it was wrong.
And I think it's also, I mean, when the kids are in school, they're expected to do it right and correct because that's the way the end product is going to have to be. And we need to create a safe place for failure. Thank you, Chris. That's where I was going with this. Is like, they need to have that understanding that this is a safe place to fail. More and more times than not, they don't get that in the school system. And so we need to create that space for them to be able to do that and say, it's okay. You did your best. But now we learned as a scientist, that the outcome isn't going to be, it's not going to be the same what we thought it was going to be.
So Justin brings up I believe that's the whittling chip one, bear claws. So how do you balance doing your best with safety? Because yes, everybody sweats that one. Every wolf leader going into bear year realizes that you're going to hand all of these children knives and they're supposed to make something.
Just make sure they're sharp, because it's more dangerous to have a dull knife than it is with a sharp knife. And Band-Aids.
Yeah, I was going to say first aid and lots of structure to the event.
And there's a lot of us here that have taught it before. So if you need that extra, you yourself need that extra support, call a friend. That's what we're here for. That's what this is for, is just to be able to call a friend. It's like, hey, I know this person at Roundtable, it said that they've done this before, not me. And before you start calling me, but I can point you to who to go to. This is your network. This is where you call a friend. This is your lifeline. You have 3. No, I'm kidding. That's what this is for, is to create that network of scouters to be able to help each other out. And you can do it in person and not on Facebook all the time.
They also,
yes,
specifically specifically the whittling chip. I saw just recently, a lot of units have had actual great success asking their fellow troops to send scouts over to help guide whittling chip. So the scouts, BSA, get the experience doing the edge method. The Cubs get to learn from the other scouts, and it's a great partnership. It's a great way for the troops to do recruiting. It's a great way to build that relationship with your fellow troops. Yes, building bridges, obviously. And then, if you're one of the newer den leaders, it takes a little pressure off of you too, that you have to perfectly teach everybody knife safety. Whereas, your star in life scouts have been doing it for a while now and we're taught it.
And use your den chiefs. If you have den chiefs, use them. If you have a den chief, but they're the den chief to the Weeblos, hey, can I use your den chief for this month or this week or something? Talk to each other. That's what they're there for as well. A lot of you have den chiefs that might as well utilize them. That's what they're there for. All right, our last question is, how do you reinforce the scout model of do your best in your den meetings? Besides saying, do your best.
That was going to be my answer, because we do that. Our den would end every den meeting with a cheer of do your best. And we would start low and say it low, and we'd go a little higher and say it a little louder, and then we'd jump and shout it. And the kids loved it every den meeting that we would do this as a group.
That's an idea. Like the shouting monitors, like at the big jumbotrons during your game.
It does get a little rowdy and out of hand at the end, but it's fun. It's a fun way to wrap up the meeting. So
and that's okay. That's when you send them off with your parents and you're like,
right. Fill them with sugar from a snack and shout, and then they can go.
Anybody else have any other ideas or things that they've done in their packs? Matt looks like he wants to say something, but I don't know. I can be reading the 2-inch screen a little wrong. No?
Eric says sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, I'm taking vigorous notes here because you guys have got some great stuff. And
Oh, so it was a pensive look. I'm sorry. That's why I said the 2-inch screen. I could have been reading it wrong.
So Eric's comment there, if he doesn't want to say it out loud, is he believes it's great to encourage scouts to try things more than once, and often they will achieve more than they think they can. So that's also a great one.
Anything else on this topic? All right. Well, what I'll do is I will stop this recording. I think I can do that.